All right, so this is just a basic showcase of a coding project that I worked on and made. It's called MiniMine. It's a 2D mining and exploration game. And I made it using a primitive package from Python itself called graphics. And so, well, this is the code. I'm just going to skim through it for now, and then we'll go through in much more detail later. But it's a pretty long file, and really, it's just a simple implementation of a way for a player to move around or look like they're moving around in a large open world with all sorts of different things that they can collect. So let's jump right into it. So this is the loading screen, and this is the window that it opens up. And I'm just gonna go through and show you like the different features here. It has background music, and so here's the game overview. Basically, it just explains what your goal is, what you can do, how you move around, the game controls. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna do like a little playthrough. Shouldn't be too long. I like the graphics and stuff. I was just playing around with different ways I could work with this. So, here, this is the main user interface. And we've got different ores and things that you can move around into. So, I'm gonna move to the right, and we just collected the rarest ore in the game. Pretty crazy, I know. And yeah, it distributes these ores randomly with a percent chance, which I'll go in more depth later when we go through the code. And basically, your goal is to collect these ores and sell them when you get back to the home base. So I just earned some money, which I can then use to buy more energy, like let's say 50 for now. And that'll go through. And now I have more energy to use to mine more ores. And over time, I guess your goal could be to clear out the entire world, and you can really do anything with it. So yeah, that's really what the game is. In a second, I'm gonna go back so that we can see the code. Um, but I found it really interesting to make something like this, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. So yeah, and that's the game. So now I'm gonna go into the code. So starting from the beginning. These are the imports. I import an arcade module, which helps me with sound output and stuff like that. Date time for knowing when a sound started and when to end the sound, so that a new sound can start in a module that I call UODSS, User Oriented Dynamic Sound System, which we'll go into more depth later. These are the functions and the colors for the text. This is usually just for the diagnostics of the game. I don't really use it in the window, but it's nice to have this utility. This generates the world visual. It's pretty simple stuff there. This is a function that I really like because it generates, given two primitive coordinates, it generates the pixel coordinates for the screen to produce an image in that location. This is a show world function for diagnostics, like I said before. And these are just some variables that you can change for volume, sound volume. And this is where it really starts. So this is where all the images that are in the background get rendered. Well, not rendered, but pre-rendered, basically. And the window is created here. So the logo animation shows the Shard Visual Studios, which is a studio that, it's a one-man studio. It's me. And then we get into the main loop where the variables are reiterated. This is the first main loop of two. This is for the main menu screen. So we get a few things drawn out here. This is where the rendering actually happens. This is where the pre-rendering happens for all the boxes that you can click on. Moving on here, these are the places where you can click to, and this is kind of like the logic to see where the user clicked, and depending on that, what to do. This this while true loop is the actual game. This is where the reiterations happen, where you move. So if you take a move, you go back to the start of this while true loop, and it reiterates through these variables. It checks if you're still alive, because if you run out of energy, then you're not alive. It sets the player token. This is the symbol for the player token in the code, but we see it differently because it's rendered with an image that I have painstakingly created for each one of the ores and players, etc. This is where the function that I showed you before gets used. So the primitive coordinates over here are turned into actual real coordinates that we can then apply into the point function here, and that basically renders the entire world for us, or pre-renders it. My bad. This is the rendering phase. This is where it's actually rendered, and it's much shorter than this part because in this part there's so many different possibilities that you have to create code for. Now, this is just the regular chores that the computer needs to do, like um, checking what the inventory looks like at that point and printing that inventory out. Same thing with all the other values like the x coordinate, the y coordinate, the amount of energy left. And this I think this is the coolest part of the entire code, because this is the implementation of UODSS. How it works is basically it checks. Okay, is there a song going on right now, or is there no sound going on right now? And if there's no sound, then we stop any sound going on so that we can replay a sound after, like, there's a chance that a song is played. It's 1 in 10 here, and every time the user puts in an input, it could be any input, UODSS is rechecked and rerun so that the sound basically seems to work around the player's movements rather than, being arbitrary. So this is the point where all of the objects are undrawn, so we can pre-render them again in the next loop. And right after that is the main system for the game controls. So it checks, did you press the W key? And that means you want to go up. So then we change all the variables to do so. And we do that 4 times for each one of the inputs that you could put in. And then here, this is if you want to go into the shop. So we have like a little game within a game for the shop with all the buttons and things you can click on. And then this is the game overview. Basically, you undraw all the things for the title screen and draw the game overview image. Same thing for the credits, which I'll show you in a second. And this is just the quit button, which wraps everything up and closes up the game. So yeah, that's what I've created. I'm going to run it one more time just so that you guys can see that in action. So this is the loading screen. And these are the credits. And thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me. Thank you.